Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the League to Nuts headquarters. It's time for This Week in League to Nuts with your host, Commissioner Nutz, Matt Levine.
All right, and welcome to This Week in League D Nuts, round one of the playoffs in the books. As they say, as we talk about it here on This Week in League D Nuts, we'll preview round two. Hard to believe we're just a couple of weeks away from the end of 2018. It's been a great season in League D Nuts. A couple things to take care of first, some business, as they say. Still need some payments. About half the payments are in, half the payments aren't in. If you haven't paid, please do. If you're in the playoffs right now and hoping that you don't have to pay because your team might win, okay, understandable. But try to get your payments in. If you're one of the teams out there and you want to pay right now, payments will be accepted via PayPal. We can do that. Just email me, or you can send a check old school. I'll get you the address for the 188th time. By the way, the shirt today, if you take a look, okay? I saw this in the draw about a week ago. And last year, 2017, yours truly, Commissioner Nutz, Matt Levine, right here in the flesh, wore this 2017, a makeshift Halloween outfit. That's how the legend of Nutz got started. I'll save the story for the back end, maybe next week as we preview the finals, okay? We'll go over the legend of Nutz, but we'll start by just giving you the description of the shirt and all about it in a quick story. Bought it year before last for Halloween at the thrift store because it reminded me of this. And what's that? That's the painting Scarface, Antonio Montana, Al Pacino had in back of him in the legendary movie. And for some reason I saw that and figured I'd go as Scarface's picture. Saw this in the closet or in the draw a couple weeks ago. Didn't even remember I had it, but I said this would be a perfect one to bust out for League D Nuts. So that's a little bit of some history behind today's wardrobe for League D Nuts. Okay, let's move on to talk about the games that are now, as I said, in the books are history. The first round of the playoffs, and what a playoffs we have had thus far, as we had the quarterfinals happen last week. Interesting setup as you got Mermanators, Florida Mermanators, the rookie, and the second seed, respectively, along with the top seed, Polk High School, a two-time defending champ in 2009, the first year, the inception of League D Nuts. He took home the first ever League D Nuts title. Then he won it again in 2012, taking a breather for the weekend, along with the rookie, the Mermanators. They don't know anything better, do they? They're going to think that you get a bye every year in the playoffs. Maybe they'll have that luck. So they had a break. And who'd you have playing last week? The 4 versus 5. Yonkers, winner of the Haganah, taking on the other rookie, the 5th seed, Lights Kamara Action. This one hardly a barn burner in the end. Too much lights for Yonkers, formerly New York Cash Getters. The final, 130 to 116. Kamara led by 7 different players. All first 7 of their players, quarterback on down to the flex, double digits, including 2 Green Bay Packers in the win over the Atlanta Falcons. Adam Jones, 18, Devontae Adams, 21. No more Mike McCarthy. Good news for the Packers. Good news for guys who own their weapons on offense in fantasy football. Like Lights Kamara Action, 6 win in the last 7 games. Interestingly enough, they made big blockbuster trade with for Adam Thielen and David Johnson for Edelman, and who else was it? Mack, the running back in Indianapolis, and someone else, to Thielen Groovy. Now, that combination is yet to prove as gangbusters, you might say, as home run hitters as they are on paper. 25 they combined for last week. They essentially haven't gone off yet. The trade has helped, hasn't hurt, but they're winners, and they are on to the Final Four. Congratulations to the rookie. By the way, Lights did leave 62 points on the bench, including Drake on Miami, the Miami Miracle. What a great play. Wasn't that fascinating last week, just turning that on? How many times have you seen that play not work? A complete miracle. So Drake had 19 points with the miracle play. Who knew that he'd ever have any points in that game the way it was going, right? So, again, Lights Kamara action on their way to the playoffs. They will take on the top seed, Polk High School. We'll talk all about that matchup in just a moment. Yonkers, though, want to highlight the 116 they had, and they came up short. I told you last week I thought that Lights Kamara would come up with the win. Shame on you, Yonkers. A good year, I know. I'm just rooting for the Haganah. But Yonkers, I think what went wrong is they got the old happy years with Mitch Trubisky. He seemed to have it every week. And last week, interestingly enough, Yonkers goes with Trubisky. 6 points. Left 2 quarterbacks on the bench. Breeze, who had 16 points. That wouldn't have mattered, but go figure. Josh Allen, who you can't blame Yonkers. Who would have ever started Josh Allen? 23 points in the loss to the Jets. So Yonkers, no love from Todd Gurley, and that's really the downfall. Can't really blame the guy. I'm just giving him crap. Gurley, 8 points. Averages 28. What happened? Those who own Goff, I'll talk about that in a moment. Those who own Gurley got Goffed and Gurleyed. Both of them proved they can't play in the cold weather in Chicago. What an ugly game that was, and what a dud on Sunday night. 15-6, right? Da Bears, I believe that was the final as they won. Allen Robinson, 9 points. And Adam Humphries, 8 points. Yonk rode that A-hump train for a while, but it fell short, and he has a love affair with every year, it seems, with Allen Robinson is on his squad. Only 17 combined between the two. So Yonkers, a good year. Made the playoffs. That's a good year for any of us, right? Any of these 6 of 12 who are lucky enough to do so, but they come up short. So it's adios for you, Yonkers. See you next year. Meanwhile, the third seed, Smash U, who was the 2015 champ. He certainly was. How about that right there? That Nutz Cup looking good. Smash, the 2015 champ, and the hottest team in the league right now. 5 straight wins. Smash save some points for next year. 8-5 now. As they took out Dingstown. The defending champions, they finish another great season, 8-5. Dingstown, I mentioned last week, the highest ranked scoring team with the average around $170 plus every game. No points last week, and that's what happens. 269, 112. How about Dingstown? Falling to Smash U. Now, no one, I think, is going to top a team with 269. Just a tough Sunday for the defending champ from last season. His bench, 112 left on the bench, including Dak. Tough one there, as I said. You're not going to start Dak over Goff. He got Goffed -1. Dak with 36. McCaffrey, a great, great draft pick for Dingstown. 27 points. Sonny Michael, though, and Golden Tate, each of them fell flat. 7 for the Patriots as running back. 1 for the newly acquired at the trade deadline, Philly's wide receiver, formerly of the Detroit Lions in Motown, Michigan. Meanwhile, Smash with the win. Okay, in his victory, I want to tell you all about it and who he was led by. Now, I know in this week in League the Nuts, playoff preview or not, draft show, week 4, whatever it is, I try never to talk about politics. In fact, as a sportscaster, that's what I focus on, the sports. This show is about fantasy football. But I know who Smash is going to vote for in next election in 2020. It may not be an independent, may not be the Dems, may not be the Repubs with Pence and Trump, but here's who he's going to vote for. And I bet you he would agree with this one. Now, how about that? 2020, the team of Cooper and Kittle, Prez and VP. You heard it right here. That's who Smash has given his vote for, because Amani Cooper went ape, you know what. 69 points. The last 3 games for Coop, 57, 14, 69. All with the Dallas Cowboys. A trade deadline blockbuster for the Cowboys, a steal, averaging 19 points with that 69 last week, 10 receptions, 217 on the yardage, 3 touchdowns, the old hat trick, including the miracle touchdown in overtime, the game winner off a tip pass took it in for 6 against the Philly Eagles. Dallas, with that trade, flying high. So is Smash U. Pretty impressive. Now, the back end of that team, I don't know who's going to be VP or Prez. That's for them to decide. I put Cooper and Kittle. Stick with that. 19 points a game for Kittle this season. When was Kittle drafted? You talk about how important drafting is in League the Nuts. Kittle, a 13th rounder. The pick after that by Smash U, the Texans defense. Okay? A backup to what should have been the superstar tight end for their team this year, but age and injury have caught up with Greg Olsen, who was selected much earlier, I believe in the between 6th and 8th round. I looked earlier, but I forgot, for Smash U. But Kittle goes crazy. The 13th round draft pick, 7 catches, 210 on the yards, a touchdown. All's work, by the way, done mostly in the first half. 40 points also for T.Y. Hilton, coming alive at just the right time for Smash. Zeke Elliott, why not? 35 points. Russ Wilson, the only downfall there, quarterback, 8 points for Smash U, who's on his way to the Final Four. He will be taking on Lights Kamara action. Lights Kamara action, that's right, because Polk's going to take on the Merms. So Lights Kamara action is going to go against Smash, and we'll talk about the matchups in just a moment. But first, I wanted to tell you about last year's Final Four, just as a reminder how hard it is. And I just wanted to share this with you. These are the 4 teams that were in there last year. Yours truly against the Crawl Space Hookers. Still haven't figured out that name. Anyway, Dingstown, there you go, last year's defending champ. He won the final against me, 118 to 108. Sheriff Clark's fake medals in there as well. Now, my game in the Final Four, a 20-plus point win over Crawl Space. Dingstown, he was a 2-point winner. 159 to 157. And I was just looking it up to see kind of how he got those 2 points and where the battle was won. It was running backs. Kamara, who was the essential all-everything player for Dingstown in his title run last year, 20 points. Deion Lewis, 14 points for Sheriffs. So that was where the difference was made in last year's Final Four. Okay, let's talk about this week's matchups. And we'll talk about the first one here. Now, I didn't do such a great job clipping this one, so bear with me, but by now you know the names, you know the teams, right? To the left, over here to the left, that's Smash, the 3rd seed. And to the right is the Merminators, the 2nd seed. As I mentioned, they had the bye. So let's take a look at some of the players. Ben Roethlisberger, questionable. But you know Big Ben, he'll play. Russell Wilson, 8 points I mentioned just last week. That matchup there, a toss-up. Really is. Big Ben taking on New England, everything on the line. Wilson's got a tasty matchup against San Francisco. You look at the running backs. You got Melvin Gordon. Can he make it back? Eckler, injured. Looks like he's out. Jackson's the 3rd running back, and Smash U, to his credit, has him on the bench, so he can insert him. But Gordon would be huge there. Breida, also a question. Can he come back? Because you got Cohen, and then you got Jordy Nelson slid into that flex spot there. And Jordy has been flat all year, but Kamara really, Merminators, haven't really needed him. Then you got some matches like T.Y. against Antonio. You know, how far could either one hit the ball out of the park? It comes down to who's going to get the biggest home run. Lockett against Evans, don't know. Cooper, been hot as Molten Ash. No, that doesn't make Molten Rock. That makes sense. Okay, I tried. I don't know where I came up with that one. But he'll take on Tyreek Hill. Wow, another home run hitting contest. Then you got Kittle, and he's winning the tight end against Gerald Everett. There's no question about that. The rest are intangibles. So a very interesting matchup right there. Who do I like in this one? Tough one to forecast. Wow. I'll tell you what. I think I have to go with the hottest team right now, and that's Smash, who wins 6 straight, takes out the Merminators in an upset over the 2nd seed. and advances to the finals. Now, last week I showed you a good breakdown of the teams who have historically made the playoffs in League to Nuts. I think it's worth showing again. Let's do it. Look at this breakdown. So here are the all-time playoff appearances, and I highlighted and put them all by himself. Smash. Pretty amazing. Okay? 8 straight years in the playoffs. As I mentioned, the champ in 2015 has made the playoffs now 9 out of the last 10 years. And you see the other team there, Polk High School, right in there in the finals. So you got the 2 veteran teams against the 2 rookies in this year's Final Four, and let's preview the other matchup, shall we? Well, so yours truly cut off the teams here. Not quite ESPN stuff, but, you did the best with what you can. Okay, so to the left, you're going to have the challenger, the 5th seed, Kamara. And to the right, you're going to have the number 1 seed, the winner in Furley Roper. Only 2 losses on the season. Polk High School. Whoa, Bundy. Pat Mahomes, Deshaun Watson. We got the Los Angeles Chargers for Mahomes. That's going to be a shootout. You got the Jets. Which Jets do you get? So Deshaun's going to get some points. I like Mahomes winning the quarterback. Then you look at the running backs. You got Kamara Jones, David Johnson taking on Chris Thompson, Chris Connolly. It's been interesting because he made the trade for Johnson, who really hasn't done much. Jones, as I mentioned, helped lead him last year. Kamara, we know, is explosive. So I like the matchup there just because of Kamara. The other 2, a toss-up. Then you go to the receivers, and you got Galladay, who's been everything. As you see, again, the team to the right is Polk High School, to the left, Kamara. Galladay's been awesome pickup. Awesome for Polk High School. He'll match up with Devontae Adams, who, again, led the way last week in the victory for Lights Kamara. That's a great matchup right there. It's a toss-up. You got Thielen, who's been waiting to go off since he came over in that trade at the deadline to Lights Kamara, taking on Cortland Sutton. Another guy like Galladay has come on this year, has proven he's the real deal. And you got Josh Gordon and Kenny Stills. We got the home run hitter wannabe in Stills, who you just never know with. It's a gander, and Josh Gordon. You got a Phil here in tight end going against Jack Ertz, who I don't think anyone can beat unless it's Kittle or Kelsey. Then who else is a toss-up, right? On the best day ever, maybe Antonio Gates, but that's a vintage day. You got some others you can toss in, but tight end has not been as elite as other positions this year. And then you got the intangibles. So who do I like in this matchup? You figure a 50-50 chance that a rookie is going to make it into the finals. But I'm going to be a skeptic. I'm going to go old school. I'm going to take Polk High School matching up against Smash. So I got the underdog in Smash over the 2 seed and the rookie Florida Merminators. And I got Polk High School, the favorite, taking on the 5th seed in the rookie Kamara. So I take the 2 old schoolers in the League the Nuts Championship. You heard it here. Where else are you going to hear it? Anyway, a couple other things to just make you aware of before we wrap it up. Again, please do get the money in. Cha-ching if you haven't paid. Now, I sent you guys an email. I figured the day after Christmas would be the last. Next week, we'll do one more show regarding the regular season. I'm going to do a lot of breakdown of the finals. There's all kinds of statistics I told you last week. I saved it on the stats. I tried to a little bit because you can break down the finals any which way you want, slice it and dice it. There's some great numbers to go over. So I'll give you a heavy dose of a finals preview, which deservingly so should be the centerpiece of next week's show, as we'll recap the Final Four, tell you about the lucky 2 who earned their way to the League de Nuts title game in 2018. And then we'll tease what should be a fun season finale. I'm shooting for the day after Christmas, right? Tentatively, we'll see, to do a League de Nuts final, talk about the champ, honor thy champion, talk about the finals and what the difference were, and do all kinds of summary, and then give you the Nutsies. How about that? I figured they've got the Academy Awards, you've got the Oscars, you've got all kinds of award shows. There's one on Nickelodeon. I forget what it is. It's been on for like 50 years. Not 50 years. Probably maybe close to that, right? The Kids Awards on Nickelodeon. I remember that one. And now we're going to have the Nutzies. So I'm thinking about 10 categories I can do, like worst draft pick, best waiver wire pickup. We'll honor the Melty. I haven't talked about the Melty. I haven't done anything because I've been busy. I'll admit that. But I figure I'll save it for the Nutzies on December 26th. And we'll honor the Melty winner and on and so on and so forth. Maybe I can even have some of you guys appear on the show. Now, I did tell you, and I gave you my word, that I would try to get an A-list guest. I haven't been able to do that. So I might have to ask for a mulligan. Please. Maybe. Come on. I'm not trying to weasel my way out, but I haven't had time yet to get a guest on the show to work that out. But I want to work that out. Latin Hustle's Latin Hustle. I've got time. Maybe ask for a mulligan. Maybe we put it on the back burner. But I'll keep my word. I'll figure it out. Maybe I can get some of you guys in as guests to give me a prediction next week on the final game. It's pretty simple. I just send like a web link, and then I got to pull you up here on the dashboard and get you on air. I haven't done it yet. I say it's simple, but I haven't attempted it. So I haven't been able to go for an A-list guest. I've just been busy with stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we'll figure that all out. Anyway, big final coming up to the final 4 teams. Polk High School, Smash U, Lights Camara Action, the Florida Merminators. I wish you all the best of luck. I hope the semifinal games are as close as possible. I hope both of them go down to the benches, and they're both draws, and we have to see who's on the bench left to give it a winner. And I hope the winning team wins by 1 point each. Okay, so I want the closest matchups possible. I hope you guys bite your fingernails down to the core. You're nervous all weekend. You're exhausted from the anticipation, the lead up, the build up, then finally the game, and most of all, you enjoy it. So don't be too nervous. Take it slow. Enjoy the finals for those 4 teams out there. For the rest of yous, thanks for watching the show. Again, the Nutzies coming your way in 2 weeks. Next week, we'll wrap up the Final 4 with the championship preview. And we'll start putting the finishing touches on this season here in League the Nutz. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. I'm Matt Levine, the commissioner here for League the Nutz, and this week in League the Nutz, it's a wrap in round 1 of the playoffs. Let's advance and move on to round 2. Adios.